The Last Samurai is a 2003 historical epic. It comes from director Edward Zwick and stars Tom Cruise and Ken Watanabe. An American military veteran tasked with training the Japanese Imperial Army in 1876 gets captured by the enemy samurai he was hired to destroy, but over time during his capture he develops a soft spot for the samurai culture. Unlike Troy, Gladiator, and other large-scale Hollywood epics, it took me quite some time to check out The Last Samurai. The first time I saw this movie was last January, and during my first viewing, I thought the movie was pretty good, but not a masterpiece. However, since that time, my understanding of The Last Samurai has become much stronger. I now think this movie is one of the most perfect Hollywood epics ever made. This film is so well done by director Edward Zwick that it could very well be his best movie ever made. But what makes The Last Samurai such a good movie? Well, at the core of The Last Samurai is Tom Cruise as Captain Nathan Algren, and his character has a really dark past. He did some awful things during the American Indian War, and that later drove him to alcoholism, so as a character, you can see immediately that everything he did in his past had such a large impact on himself that he struggles so much to the point where he has to drink every single day just so he feels somewhat normal and can forget those awful acts he committed. And so since the film sets up Algren so perfectly from the beginning, showing us that he is somebody that has such a difficult time overcoming his past, this then leads us down a route where we see his character go through one of the best character arcs I've ever seen in cinema history. If you want to know how to do a great character arc, watch The Last Samurai, because this is one of the best character arcs I've ever seen on the big screen. I also think The Last Samurai's use of symbolism is overlooked. In the early stages of the film, we see Algren going toe-to-toe with these other samurai in some sword fights, but he obviously does not compare and gets his butt kicked immediately. But these samurai fights in the first act of the film allude to the great warrior that Algren will eventually become at the end of the movie. Oh, and there's a scene where Katsumoto, played by Ken Watanabe, and Algren have a conversation about a small group of soldiers going against a large army during the American Indian War. And in this battle, everyone a part of the smaller army dies. In the eyes of Katsumoto, this is a great honorable death. In the eyes of Algren, he thought it was stupid. This alludes to what happens at the end of the film. Overall, though, the best aspect of The Last Samurai is how we have this man who doesn't know a single thing about the samurai culture, is captured by them, and later develops a true relationship with everyone in this village. It's such a deep, down-to-earth, relaxing Hollywood epic. A lot of these other epics focus on the action, battle, gore, whatever you want to call it, but in this movie, it takes its time developing its characters and the film's main relationships in its core. Because of this, you begin to care so much about everyone in the film. Algren, Katsumoto, Taka, the sister of Katsumoto who takes care of Algren while he's there. And yes, some of these scenes are slower paced, but this is necessary. If the film went through it super quickly, you would feel like it's not earned. The movie would rush right through it and nobody would care about the relationships of The Last Samurai. This is what the movie is all about. It's not about the big action sequences. It's about the relationships that Algren grows and develops with these villagers. I didn't mention Hans Zimmer's score yet. It is immaculate. It is one of the most epic scores I've ever heard for a big historical film like this. I freaking love the score of The Last Samurai. It's one of the best I know. Hans Zimmer, of course, is one of the greatest composers of all time, and he does such a great job at composing The Last Samurai score. And in the final minutes of The Last Samurai, we get one of the finest closing action battle sequences I've ever seen. The film's finale marked the end of an era where the old values of Japan ceased to exist. If you couldn't tell by now, I love The Last Samurai. I think it's nearly perfect, and Edward Zwick doesn't get nearly enough credit for making such a great movie. People don't like this movie that much. It doesn't have the highest score on Rotten Tomatoes. Audiences don't think it's a classic, but come on, it's one of the best Hollywood epics ever made, and Edward Zwick deserves way more credit. The man basically got taken out of Hollywood because people don't like his movies that much. The last movie he directed was Jack Reacher 2, and everyone hated that movie, rightfully so, but you handed the man dog crap. Maybe give the guy another great movie like this, and he'll turn it into another masterpiece. I guess people don't like the film because Tom Cruise's character is not a real person. He's based on a real person, though, so what's the problem there? The only thing I see as potentially problematic in The Last Samurai is how the character of Katsumoto in the film does not believe in using guns. He only wants to use swords, and in a way that makes his character look more honorable. The audience can get behind his character because of that. But historically speaking, the person he is based off of had no issues using guns, and in the film it makes him look kind of dumb not to use more advanced weapons. Like, if you had an opportunity to have somewhat of an equal advantage to your enemy, why not take it? But again, it's not that big of a deal. The Last Samurai is a masterpiece. It's one of the best Hollywood epics ever made, and it's the only Hollywood epic that Tom Cruise ever did. Great choice, Tom. I am giving The Last Samurai a 100%. Alright, so for those of you who stuck around to watch this entire review, do you also love The Last Samurai? Is it a masterpiece in your eyes? Or are you like some of the other audience members and critics who don't think it's that good? Let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts are of it. So guys, we actually have movies this weekend. Next up, I will be reviewing Raya and the Last Dragon, as well as Chaos Walking and the finale of WandaVision. I'll be going through the entire series of WandaVision, giving you guys all of my thoughts on it. As always, guys, if you are new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.